Hi, I'm Wesley,
And I'm Danielle.
and thank you for joining us once again as we document and share our personal journey towards financial independence, retire early, and move abroad.
Our journey across the continent of Africa continues.
Our next stop is the beautiful Zanzibar.
In this video, we will give you an on-the-ground perspective of the beautiful country from a local tour guide.
Excellent. So please remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and share our videos so you can catch them as soon as we drop. Thank you, Wesley and Danielle. Out.
We are departing Dar es Salaam en route to Zanzibar. So how do you get to Zanzibar from Dar es Salaam? There are two options. Your first option is by local flight, and your second option is by ferry. A local flight with Precision Air was about $120 round trip, and the flight duration was 30 minutes one way. By ferry, the projected cost was about $60 round trip, and the duration of the ferry ride is about 2 hours. And so we opted to use Precision Air just because it seemed quicker and less hassle for us.
Yeah, we just landed in Zanzibar. Flight was probably 12 minutes or less. Very quick. As soon as you go up, you gotta prepare for landing.
So now it's time for bags. Yeah, so it was actually a connecting flight to Kenya.
Yeah. So we're hoping our bags make it off the plane. We haven't had great luck.
After we collected our luggage, we headed out to connect with our private tour guide and driver. So now we are headed to the resort, which is about 45 minutes away from
So normally, generally, when you say Tanzania, so Zanzibar Island,
Yes.
and Zanzibar got independence in 1963.
1963. Yeah.
And in the 12th of January, Zanzibar was made revolution. In Swahili, say Mapinduzi. 50th century, Zanzibar was led by Portuguese.
Yeah.
In the 17th century, Portuguese was led by Arabs.
Yeah.
But in 1964, Arab, they are led by African people.
African people. Yes.
And in the 12th of January, we overjoyed our revolutionary day, the day how to make his happiness for Zanzibar. Left Arab, led by African people. But 3 months later, Zanzibar and Tanganyika, they have made something we call the union in 26 April 1964.
1964.
1964.
April 20th.
Yes, union.
Union.
President of Zanzibar show, known as Abedi Amani Karume, and the president of Tanganyika was called the Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere. They make a signing by Tanga and Za. They have a joining union, meaning collaborations to form new state known as Tanzania. In 26 April 1964 until now, we are very friendly.
Yes.
We have a union matter and we have a non-union matter. We have a national affair.
Yeah.
We have use one passport.
Yes.
And we have higher educations, they get loans.
Yes.
We have a parliament, and they have a army, like immigration and other things.
Yes, yes.
Also, they have a member in Zanzibar. They are going to represent in the parliament in the whole Tanzania.
Tanzania, yes, yes.
We have a housing representative of Zanzibar, represented by Zanzibar. They have a Zanzibar army. They make sure for all things here in Zanzibar.
Yeah.
And not only we are joined by that it's union, but also they have in 1977 they have our political party. Zanzibar was our political party known as ASP, Afro Shirazi Party, and Tanganyika was opposing was the part they called it Tanganyika National Union. They are broken down by form new party known as a CCM, Chama.
CCM.
This is the rule party since in 1964 until now.
The ruling party.
The rule party.
Yeah. No,
So we know we
no
have.
formidable challengers.
Yes,
No
we know-
challenges, just
We
one
know
ruling
what
party.
is the sufficient that something make us strong and lovely.
Yeah.
They make us all things a happiness, and they're happy for all. Make sure we are much as happy for that. And we have a constitution that have been rotting, and since the time, so they have the president in the whole Tanzania from in Tanganyika, but the vice president should be from Zanzibar.
The vice president.
Vice
from,
president.
From Zanzibar.
Zanzibar. But we are sufficient that when our president John Pombe Magufuli, he was died.
Yes, yes.
The opportunity was taken by the superwoman,
Yes.
Mama Bora. Do you know superwoman?
Yes,
We
she was
say
the vice
Mama
president.
Bora.
Mama Boy.
Vice president
Yes.
known as Samia Suluhu Hassan. She was born in that place known as the cuisine.
Yes.
Now she is the president in the
Yes.
whole Tanzania. We are much happy.
You're
We are
very
ma-
happy for
We
that.
are much happy.
Yeah.
So therefore, in Tanzania message we say we have a Mama Bora and we have a Baba Bora. The president of Zanzibar is a man.
Yeah.
He is a Baba Bora and the Mama Bora.
Mama
Now they
Bora.
have collaborated together because they are from the same politics.
The hotel or resort called the Residence. You can see beautiful grounds. It's super huge. They're all villas. You know, oceanfront beach villa. We just had breakfast and it was amazing. We're gonna go into Stone Town now, and then try to come back a little early to enjoy some of the
Resort.
resort. Yeah.
Thank you.
So we just arrived in Stone Town, and Zanzibar's Stone Town is the largest living Swahili stone town in the world. There are over 1,000 coral stone buildings having architectural significance and more than 200 carved doors. Stone Town is very much alive with busy, narrow streets linking homes, shops, workshops, and schools. And in the late afternoon, local people like to sit outside, drinking coffee, talking, and playing board games.
And why we call this Stone Town? Because we call this Stone Town because the city was constructed by local material. We have the clay, we have the sand, we have the mud, we have the lime powder, and the stone. So therefore remain by called the stone town.
Very fitting.
And they have
Over the centuries, Zanzibar has been visited and occupied by explorers, traders, and settlers. Persians, Arabs, Indians, and Europeans have all had their time and left their impression.
The 15th century was colonized by Portuguese. In the 7th century, Portuguese they left by Arabs. And but in 1890 was being under control by British.
And the British.
Arabs was under control by British. But in 1964, Arab they left by African people. Since the time and still now, Zanzibar was led by African people. We're much as happy with that.
Got it. Very fitting.
Yep.
And through it, we can see that the very thing is architectures. We have the Indian architectures, we have Arab architecture, we have the British architecture, and we have the African architecture. Arabic architectures.
Arabic.
So when you be outside the
Arabia.
balcony, we call it hanging. This is Indian architectures. They have a mix Arab with Indian. It's a hotel, very beautiful one also.
Zanzibar is predominantly Muslim. This is obvious in dress code, greetings, and with the call to prayer 5 times a day. In Stone Town, there are over 50 mosques, 2 cathedrals, and a few Hindu temples. Tourists are requested to be respectful of local customs and culture.
See the slave dungeon below, and right next door was the church.
Introduction of clove plantations and the slave trade saw Zanzibar developed into a strategic trading center.
The church and their missionaries were always responsible.
And through here we're going to see the things. We're going to see the silk chamber. We're going to see the monument, and later we're going to see the church. Let us go in the 18th century, we have the East African slave trade and West Africa. When you say the West Africa, the country like is Ghana and Liberia, that's one. When you have the East Africa, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Malawi, and the Congo. This is the West Africa. This is the East Africa. We know it's actually the slave was taken like as a skilled labor, unskillable. Yeah, we know, and we say this is African people. They're very strong, like as a Negro. They're very strong with the productive systems. After we know that industrial revolutions, so the place was fell down. No one who did it, but in this East Africa was being abolished in 1873. So
From whom? Who were the slavers?
Sorry?
Who were the slavers?
There was a businesses. Some Arabs was leading or was dealing for taking the slavery for others.
Mainly the Arabic.
Yes, Arabic and others dealers. They have a slave dealers. It.
Okay.
Yeah, the slave was kept it. With the story that said that this chamber was kept in 75 children with the mother in this part. The chain we see here is not the original chain. We are going to see the 50 minutes. Yes, this is place for watchers, the one who guide the line them. The look is very nice one. So the places the ocean was very close. During the high tide, the water passing through and watching in everything. They were living in terrible conditions. Our story was taught about it. It's happening. This is the former slave market. We call the cafe.
Give like a tortoise.
And this project was made by Clara Sommers. She was a Swedish and was being started in 1997 up to 1998. It's not a really slave, huh? They show how the slave was in the chain. The chain we see is its original chain.
They founded the place first.
The chain we see is its original chain. So can you say who is a man, who is a female? Can you imagine? Who is man, who is a female?
Oh, here?
Who's man?
That looks like a man back there.
That is a female, and that's man, that's man. Like we say slave master. Slave master the one who take care of them.
So this is where they would,
Yeah.
for the market?
Yes. No. That is how we
This
shoot
is
them
the
was in the
monument.
chamber. So the market
Oh,
was
in
at
the
part.
chamber. Ah.
Oh, have you catch me? So why the slave will never be talking each other? Because it's the difference in tribe. They will never be talked, they never be discussed. It. Everyone they're looking forward. They don't know how can we sign it. How can we say it?
Today, Zanzibar is inhabited mostly by ethnic Swahili. There are also a number of Arabs as well as some ethnic Persian, Somalis, and Indian people.
Right.
Good.
The one has a problem with Swahili, the meaning.
English is widely spoken, but it's more friendly to try some Swahili, particularly for greetings and shopping in the market. You may also find some local people who are ready to speak Arabic or
Kesho, maybe tomorrow.
Labla kesho.
Leo sina pesa. Today I don't have a money. Say leo sina pesa. This is nakupenda wewe. Means I love you. Someone we are showing. Hakuna matata means no problem. Hakuna matatizo. This is normally of speaking in Swahili. This is from Kenya. This is in Swahili. Hakuna matatizo. They have a word we say karibu means welcome.
The local currency is the Tanzanian shilling, and today $1 is worth 2,332 Tanzanian shillings.
Can you smell it? Can you smell it?
Yeah.
I can't smell it.
We have a female perfume.
Zanzibar offers a wide variety of dishes, served in places and at prices to suit every visitor's budget. For a complete experience, try some of the local places to get a taste for Zanzibari cuisine.
We're at the African house.
Lunch.
Mnakaribishwa Zanzibar yetu, hakuna matata. Jambo bwana, habari gani? Nzuri sana, karibu wageni. Mnakaribishwa Zanzibar yetu, hakuna matata. Karibuni wote, hakuna matata. Zanzibar yetu, hakuna matata.
How's the temperature of the water?
Mnakaribishwa,
How's the temperature of the water?
hakuna matata. Jambo bwana, habari gani? Nzuri sana, karibu
What kind of
wageni.
treat is it?
Mnakaribishwa Zanzibar yetu, hakuna matata.
Asante sana.
Karibu.
Karibu sana.